All right, let's talk about a phrase you hear absolutely everywhere these days, digital transformation. But what if I told you it's not really about technology at all? I mean, not really. It's actually about us, it's about our companies, and yeah, it's even about the global balance of power. This is a story about a massive change that's happening for better and for worse.
You know, this quote from the research we're looking at just nails it. It really frames the sheer scale of what we're diving into. It's not just one thing, it's everything. From how you buy your coffee to how countries compete with each other. And that last word there, ultimately, that's the kicker. It's hinting that where all this change is headed is society itself.
So, when you or I hear digital transformation, our minds probably jump to one thing, right? We picture a company finally ditching its ancient software, or maybe a factory floor with a few more robots buzzing around. We basically think of it as a technical upgrade, something the IT department takes care of.
And look, that view isn't exactly wrong, but it's kind of like looking at an iceberg and only seeing the little bit that's sticking out of the water. The real transformation, the huge, invisible part, is all happening below the surface. So, what is the whole story then?
Well, this definition from the research just completely flips the script. Check out those words, socioeconomic change. That's huge. What it's saying is this isn't a tech problem, it's a people and systems problem. It's about how our lives, our jobs, and our entire economies are being rebuilt from the ground up.
And you gotta remember, this is a two-way street. Technology isn't just something that's happening to us. We're the ones who adopt it, we use it in all these new and unexpected ways, and our behavior then shapes how the next wave of technology gets developed. It's like this constant, evolving dance between us and our digital tools.
Okay, so let's break this down and see how it actually works in the real world, starting at the most personal level there is, with you and me. Because before any big company or any country can transform, the change really has to start with individuals.
And right away, you can see that for better or worse theme playing out perfectly. For every incredible opportunity, there's a potential dark side. I mean, digital tools can totally boost our creativity, but a lot of people are terrified those same tools are going to make their jobs disappear. Upskilling is fantastic, but it creates this huge gap for people who can't keep up. It's this paradox we're all living with.
This transformation is also creating completely new kinds of jobs. We're seeing what you could call the hybrid professional emerge. It's not enough to just be a doctor anymore. Now you might need to be a data expert too. An accountant can't just know spreadsheets, they need to understand smart contracts on a blockchain. I mean, think about it. These are jobs that didn't even exist a decade ago.
So this all comes back to that really big idea of a deep socioeconomic shift. The skills you have right now, the career path you're on, and even that anxiety or excitement you feel about the future of your job, all of it is being profoundly reshaped by this transformation.
Okay, now let's zoom out a bit. All these little shifts happening to us as individuals are creating these massive waves at the company level. And businesses are starting to realize they can't just sit back and react. They have to totally change how they operate and even how they see their place in the world. See, in the old days, a company's success was pretty much decided by what happened inside its own four walls. Its products, its people, its processes. But in the digital age, nope, that's not enough anymore. Success now depends on how well you can connect and work with others in this much wider network, or what the research calls an ecosystem. And these new digital ecosystems, they tend to follow two different models that are kind of competing with each other. On one hand, you've got the orchestrator-centric model. The perfect example is Amazon. They are the powerful hub at the center, and they set all the rules for the millions of sellers on their platform. But on the other hand, you have the system's community view. This is more like an open-source software project. There's no single boss. Everyone creates value together, and they kind of form their own rules as they go.
And this brings us right back to that tension. In the best case, these ecosystems create this beautiful, virtuous cycle where everybody contributes and everybody benefits. But there's also an ugly side. A whole lot of players can get left in the dust, failing to make a profit, while just a few superstars or the main orchestrator grab most of the value. Let's be real, not everyone wins in this new game.
All right, let's take our final, most dramatic zoom out and see how all of this builds into a massive global competition. Because this transformation isn't just changing you, me, and our jobs. It's literally reshaping the entire world order. Now, that might sound like a huge leap, but if you think about it, it makes total sense. If our businesses and our societies are being rebuilt on a digital foundation,
then the rules for that foundation, who owns the data, who controls the platforms, that becomes a major source of geopolitical power.
And right now, the source material points to 3 very different and very competitive philosophies for how to manage the single most valuable resource in the digital age: data.
And this, right here, is the heart of the new global conflict. In the US, data is mostly treated as a corporate asset, something to be bought and sold. In China, data is seen as a public good that ultimately serves the state. And over in the European Union, data is framed as a fundamental right that belongs to the individual citizen. And these aren't just small policy differences, right? These are deeply philosophical battles over power, privacy, and control.
So what's the direct result of this clash? Well, that dream we all had of a single global internet, it's kind of fading. We're moving toward what some people call a splinternet, where different parts of the world operate under totally different rules with digital walls going up between them.
So we've got this massive multi-level change happening to us, to our companies, and between entire nations. And honestly, it can feel pretty overwhelming. But what if there was a simple way to make sense of it all? Well, the research actually gives us a really practical tool for that.
It's called the PIAI framework, and it's a mental model we can use for any digital change we see. So first is perception. How do we see a new technology? Is it a threat or an opportunity? Then comes interpretation. Okay, how do we make sense of it? What does it mean for us? Based on that, what action do we take? Do we adopt it, fight it, or try to regulate it? And finally, what's the impact? What are the consequences, for better or worse?
And what's so helpful about this is that it reminds us this isn't a one-and-done thing. It's a continuous cycle. We perceive, we interpret, we act, and then we deal with the impact, which of course changes our perception for the next time around. It's a really powerful way to analyze anything from a new AI tool at work to a new data law from the government.
And this all leads to a really powerful idea from the source. Digital transformation is inevitable, but it is not deterministic. So what does that mean? It means change is coming, for sure, that's a given, but the final outcome, whether it's good or bad, fair or unfair, that's not written in stone.
The future isn't something that just happens to us. It's actually built by the choices we all make every single day. Our perceptions, our interpretations, and our actions at every single level. These are the real building blocks of our shared digital world.
And that leaves us with one last vital question. Now that we have this new way of looking at the transformation happening all around us, we have to ask, who is really in the driver's seat? Who is making the big decisions that shape our world? And maybe most importantly, who is truly benefiting from all this incredible, disruptive, and ongoing change?